Yom Revi, the Parshas Vayigash, Shnas Tovshin Ayin Zayin, Yeshiva Tiferes Avigdor. Today's shir is sponsored Le'ilui Nishmas Yaakov ben David Olav Shalom. Today's discussion is going to be about something all of us detest. We really don't like them. The subject. Who could guess what the subject is? No? Challenges, he said. No. Everybody detests challenges?
Change?
Hypocrisy. People hate hypocrites. Is that correct? Aki, agree with me? That's one thing across the board. I hate a hypocrite. I don't think anybody says I like a hypocrite. I don't care. I don't mind hypocrites. I think everybody can't stand hypocrisy or hypocrites. The problem is that we don't like hypocrisy when somebody else is wearing the suit. But when we're wearing the jacket that says hypocrisy, then you don't mind the fit. Then you don't mind the smell. Then you don't mind how it feels. Where's the sugya in the Torah that talks about hypocrisy? That sugya is this week's Parsha. The brothers came before Yosef and he was withholding Binyamin, and Yehuda stepped forward and he presents an argument to Yosef. You could say he lost his cool and he shook Mitzrayim with his voice, with his thunderous voice, and he stamped on the floor, and it says the whole Mitzrayim shook. That was a serious, and the man was full of fury, and he presents an argument, you gotta let Binyamin go. And suddenly Yosef says, Ani Yosef, ha'oid avi choy, is my father alive? The lo yachlu achiv lano yisai ki nivhalu mipanav, and his brothers were not able to respond to him because they became discombobbled. They became confused. Nivhal. Now this question, pasuk, needs a lot of understanding, because everything Yehuda had said to Yosef was about how concerned they are for the pain of their father. Eich ela alavi, how can I go back to my father and without Binyamin? And then Yosef asks, ha'oid avi choy? What kind of silly question is that? I just give you a whole story about my father, how my father's not going to take the shock of no Binyamin, and you come and tell me that, ask me if my father's alive? If I was Yehuda, I would say, excusez-moi, you didn't hear me? One word I said? I told you, Kolor. Everything was about my father. And also, when they came to Mitzrayim the second time, as soon as they came, the first question that Yosef asked them is, Hasholem avichem hazokein asher amartem, your old father you spoke about, ha'idenu chai? Is he still alive? And they answered her, Ki hu chai, he's living. Yeah? Now from that time, they didn't leave Mitzrayim. So what was the muckim to ask this question a second time? And all, if you'll tell me that this is the question, so why doesn't it say the answer on this question? What did the brothers respond to that question? So there are many ways of understanding the subject, but I'm going to share with you the way that my Rebbe said over from his Zayda, the Beis Halevi Zechrein Levrach. There's a very famous medrash over here. It's the medrash of Abba Koyin Bardala. You find him a couple of times in Shas. Abba Koyin Bardala said as follows. When he studied this Parsha, he said, Oy lanu miyoyim adin, oy lanu miyoyim hatoichech. Woe unto us from the Yom Adin. Ready, Sky? Oy lanu miyoyim teichech. What do you think? You want to dry up? Yeah. Oy lanu miyoyim adin, oy lanu miyoyim hatoichech. Yosef, the smallest of the Shvatim, and they couldn't answer him because they were confounded. Ki nivhalu mipanav. L'cheshiyavay HaKadosh Baruch Hu, when HaKadosh Baruch Hu will come, v'yochiach l'chol echad ve'echad, when Hashem is going to be mechiach each and every one of us, lefi ma shehu, based on what he is, like it says in the pasuk, oichichacha ve'erecha leinecha. Hashem's going to lay it out for us clearly. Al achas kama v'kama. Now the question is, what kind of teichacha was there for this shvatim? We understand they got shocked for the sudden information that this was Yosef. They didn't think that was Yosef. And what is Yom Adin and Yom HaTeichecha? And what's this? Arichas Haloshin. And the Beis Halevi explains like this. When Yosef was telling them, Ani Yosef, Yosef wasn't telling them words of appeasement. He wasn't telling them something to be mafayis them. And you should know that afterwards, in the second pasuk, Yosef tells them, Ani Yosef achichem. He mentions to them, I am Yosef, your brother. Then he says it, b'derech achava v'ahav. But when he said to them the first time, I am Yosef, he wasn't trying to appease them. Adarabli, he was trying to instill in them fear, and they became more fearful upon discovering that this was the person who they've been at war at so many years until now, until today. And now they were in his hands, and according to the Seichel, Yosef would surely take the Kama, and even afterwards when they saw how good he was, when he told them, don't worry, I'm Yosef, your brother, don't worry. When Yankov died, they again became afraid. They were afraid that after Yaakov died, Yosef would take the Nekama from them. Maybe Yosef would then take retribution. So now they became very frightened. And when Yosef said to them, "Ahoid Avi Chai," this wasn't a question. Yosef wasn't asking a question. There was no mocking for the shayla. But the Medrash is telling us this was a rebuke. And he's saying to them, "Ani Yosef, ha'oid Avi Chai." I don't understand. How can my father be alive after all these years? From his tremendous tsar, that he doesn't know what happened to me. The loss of Yosef. Were you concerned about the father then? With these words, he's asking them a tremendous she'ela. Here you're screaming away, you're shouting the top of your lungs. You're shaking up Mitzrayim, you're saying, "For Kvoid Abba, we're concerned of Kvoid Abba, you better give us back Binyamin, because my father will die. My father's life is at stake. And we're concerned about the Tsar of Avinu." So Yosef says, "Ani Yosef, I'm Yosef, ha'oid Avi Chai." Why weren't you concerned about my father's Tsar, the same father you're talking about, when you sold me, or you threw me into that pit? If you could live without Yosef, who was extremely close, I was his Ben Zakunin and his Talmud Muvak, I was his main ear. Ela told us Yankov Yosef. Do you think he can't live without Binyamin? And that's what the Medrash, what he did was, he said, "You're hypocrites. You're talking words of hypocrisy. Here you are concerned about your father's tsar and your father's life, and here, when you came to you doing behavior and you acting out things toward me, then you weren't concerned with your father's tsar at all." That is hypocrisy. And it became worse when they discussed this. They talked about the great rachmanis on their father, how their father suffered. He lost a son, and never he lost a son. What kind of rachmanis on him? And now you talk about rachmanis. You have rachmanis. You're trying to evoke mercy in me. Did you have mercy? Did you show any rachmanis? And that the pasuk says, "V'lo yachlu achav la'noisloi anas teichacha," because it was a stira, it was a contradiction in their behavior, and he demonstrated him hypocrisy. The Medrash says and concludes, "La'asad lavai." I love when people sometimes come to me; they're up in arms, they're shying away. Oh, I'm thinking, you're the same hypocrite. The thing you're accusing that guy of, you yourself are guilty of. Guilty of. There's a guy that comes, Reuven's not respecting Shimon. I'm thinking, so what? You don't respect Shimon either. I've seen you make fun of Shimon. Oh, when I make fun of Shimon, it's different. And he's telling me, Shimon's rachmanis. I think myself, are you out of your cotton picking mind? You're not concerned about that? That's how people are. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, he says, at the end of our lives, there's going to be a Yom HaDin and a Yom HaTeichach. The Yom HaDin, Hashem is going to judge us on every one of our actions. Good, bad, good enough, not good enough. And then there's a Yom HaTeichach, when Hashem is going to demonstrate to us our hypocrisy. Here's a guy that comes to the Rebbe and says, "Rebbe, my mother, I really care about my mother." Inside I'm laughing. You care about your mother? you'd spit on your mother before she was buried. When you want to use, when it's convenient for you, then you come here with kibbut of aim. Cover my mother, I think I should do this. But when it's not to cover your mother, it's covered yourself, then you don't care. That's called techach. Hashem's going to show us our hypocrisy. Now the emes is, on every sin that a person has, he has some kind of answer. That's what it is. A person thinks he has some kind of a teretz. That's what I mentioned, because kol derech ish yasher be'einav. So everybody thinks he has some kind of excuse and some kind of justification for what he does. Let's say you have a person doesn't give tzedakah. So what does he think? In his mind he thinks, you know what, listen, things aren't easy, money doesn't grow on trees, and my needs are very many. Of my family, I don't have the ability to disperse money for others. Okay. Even though it's not a good teretz. As the Gemara says in Gittin, Imroya Adam Shemizainoisav Mitsum Tzamim Yase Mehem Tztak. That's what it says in the Gemara in Gittin. Beis Halevi, who's a Rav of people, said that's a shvacha answer. How many people have that answer? I can't tell you. I even got a psak from a place, I can't tell you. I get this all the time. Whenever a guy calls me up and tells me that's lost money unexpectedly, I tell him, you don't give tzedakah, right? I got a heter every time. It's the same thing. Guy calls me up. How many people call me up? How much did you bring in, you and your wife? 150 G's. And we have debts. I said, you don't give tzedakah. I said, how can I give tzedakah? I said, who should give tzedakah? The guy who makes 30 grand a year. I said, you know the Gemara in Gittin. It says Yasem Em Tzedakah. It says in the Gemara, Afilu Ani Amisparnes B'nat Tzedakah Yaset Tzedakah. No, but it's a shtickle teretz. We understand the teretz, right? The excuse. When a rich man gives it, then you know it's a shvacha excuse. But when a poor man gives it, okay, you understand that. You can't compare the einish that's awaiting a person who's an ashir who doesn't give tzedakah to the einish that's awaiting an ani doesn't give tzedakah. You can't compare the two. No. So what you think? What do we think? On this teretz, the einish is going to be taken off a little bit. Hashem's going to chisel off from the einish, and it's going to be lightened. To treat us more leniently. No. HaKadosh Baruch Hu now shows you were concerned about your costs, huh? Okay. So let me show you, Hashem says, where when you had this mishagas, an unimportant, unnecessary thing, you had no qualms about being mefazer mammon for something was einoi hagen klal. You decided you needed an expensive cell phone. Or, this is what I love the best, a computer. I see paupers who have no money, but they want to buy themselves a computer, not for $50. I'll tell you, buy a used computer for $100. Oh, no, I got the latest computer you got to have. You understand? They're paying $100, they're paying $200, paying $300, paying $400, $500, $600, and a little this, a little that, this attachment, that attachment, and a little camera top, and this, it's to sing, it has to dance. You're chayro what you are. You can't be mefazer your mom and you have no money. Is that a necessity in life to have a computer? People can't function without computers. I have a computer, Baruch Hashem, I can't figure out what to do with it. I recently gave it to somebody who's starting a business. He told me he has a business expense that's high. I said, okay, you can use my computer. So you get somebody to take my computer. He says, is it a shmat? I said, no, it's a good computer. And he was the guy who knew computers. He knew how to appreciate all the fancy things on his computer. Most people don't know how to work their way around it. The guy knew right away. Very happy. But when a person shows him with a guy offers some covet, here's a guy who went and bought a new car. Can't afford tzedakah, can afford a new car. You know what he tells me? I said, what do you buy a new car for? The guy tells me, it's covet. Should I look like a shlumper? Am I supposed to walk around like a piece of, whatchamacallit, drek? That's what I'm supposed to walk around like. Yeah. But that he found money. Or for machloikis. Nope. is a guy who owed debt over his ears. Mamish, debt's over his ears. He calls up with a shayla, do I have permission to redo my kitchen? It's very important for my wife. I told him, well, how would you think? How would you feel if you knew somebody owed you a lot of money? And the guy was claiming poverty. And then one day you'd see him, trucks come up, pull up in front of his house, they unload fancy cabinets and big boxes. You see a tile guy coming in, a lighting guy the next day, new plumbing coming in, new stoves coming in, and you say, what happened? You're moving? Yeah, no, we're redoing the house. Are your parents paying for this? No, but you know, times are hard, but my wife needs it. I mean, this is not costing $1,000. To redo a kitchen? Cheap. $15,000, $20,000, $30,000. Remember when they did your kitchen, remember? It cost $20,000. Remember thinking, what? You pay for this garbage $20,000? I'm thinking, sure, I could have spent $20,000 a lot better ways. But I remember looking before, it still doesn't want it. No crumbs. But you want stuck here? So the guy asked me, you think I'm right? I said, how would you feel? He said, I probably wouldn't feel too good. I said, if you move out of the neighborhood and people owe you money, you want to change your kitchen, okay, maybe. I'm not sure. It's possible. His wife gets on the phone. I tell her the same scenario, and she starts to cry and kvitcha. Mamish, you would thought I was telling you she has to be makar of all her 5 kids. You would think, Mamish, she didn't want 5 kids. But you would think I was telling her she has to be makar of every one of her kids. I mean, just shrink. I said, I'm sorry. I'm just placing a scenario in front of you, you understand? Just to see how it looks. I said, you cooked in the kitchen for quite a few years. You can't cook another few years. You know what I mean? I'm just it's a luxury. That's what a person. How ask a person, could you spend any money for your son to learn Torah? He said, can't afford it. Daddy can't afford it. No, but for dvarim she'enim agunim, you know what I mean? You go on vacation, Daddy has money for it. The mitzvah is no money. So he's going to show, so the Beis Levi says, know what's going to happen? The einish for your not giving it tzedakah is going to become doubled. It's going to become amish at least double. The aveira of not doing tzedakah is going to become doubled when the guy went and spent $800 on a computer with all the latest technology. Instead of getting one for free that people discard every day because they become too old for the well-to-do people. That's what the Chazal say, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to mechiach us. And he's going to show us, Tiyasrecha ra'asecha u'mishuvaisecha yochichucha. The ra that you did is going to be the musar and the teichecha to some other aveir that you did. And that's why there's 2 things. There's a Yom Hadin. That's when Hashem looks at each and every one of our mice. And then there's the Yom HaTeichecha. Din is on the Beira. Teichecha is on the Vikuach. They show a person from another Maisa to this Maisa that makes his Einish much bigger. And not only that, he doesn't even have a shtickle teretz anymore. His whole teretz that he wanted to imagine he's going to save himself with is out the window. And the Medrash brings a pasuk. The pasuk in Tehillim, Perik Nun, it says, Oichichecha ve'ercha, I'm going to lay out all your maisim in front of you. Now if you take a look in the pasuk over there says like this, Im ra'isa ganef, if you see a ganef, you run with him. Ve'im minoafim chakecha, you chill with minoafim. People who are adulterous, people who are minuvolim, people who talk prost, people who act prost. Picha shalachta bero, you let your mouth run to do evil. U'leshoincha tatz mit mirma, your tongue attached to deceit. Teshav, you sit. Be'achicha tedaber, you talk against your brother. Be'beni mecha titen doife, you find fault with your mother's children. Eila asisa v'hechrashti, these things Hashem says you did. V'hechrashti, I was quiet. You know what you thought? Damisa, you imagine hey yois, I'm like you, and I'm saying what you're doing is okay. Be careful. Because one day I'm going to show you, I'm going to lay out all these maisim in front of you. What does this mean? There's a very interesting minig that I found out throughout my life. People, for some reason, if I tell you this guy is a mamash a guraba ganef, all of a sudden, a certain group of people saying to him, want to become his friend. You'd think they'd run away from the guy. No, they befriend him. Smachs, how are you? Going through a hard time? I heard about you. I don't believe everything I hear. I'm not as problematic bad as they say. What? Pulling his out. And I got money robbed, so Rav told me I could go to his house and I could take out chafetzim of value. Without a bezdin, there's no problem to go. So I knocked on the guy's door. In front of the guy's door is standing a guy. You got to get past me first. I said, excuse me. I asked your Rav. Your Rav sent me here. I said, my Rav should come here. I don't care what you say. I said, what are you going to do? He said, I'm going to stop you. I said, I'm not going to fight with you. They turned around and went away. The guy was a nobody, a garnished. I said to the guy, why are you defending Anavna? I'm not coming to Ganta. I'm coming to you. I could have done nice. He said, listen, maybe... I got hold of the guy. I got something out of the guy. But eventually I called him on the phone to give me something of value. This guy was a big collector. He took my money and he bought very expensive watches. That was one of his things. He offered me ties and I wasn't interested. His ties cost $150 each. His suits he offered me, he had these custom suits, $2,000, all my size. Not that I liked them anyway, so I told him I want to walk around in your clothes. But it's a pellet. That's what people are. All of a sudden, their friendship, their ava, the achva. And the same thing. You'll have minoafim, people they say, mamish got involved in scandals. You think everybody would run away from him. Nah, they'll be mishtat of him. I don't want you to feel lonely. I don't want you to feel like an outcast. They'll be mishtat with you. No? Talk to Beis Halevi, this is the Hepach HaTorah. Because the Torah says, Haloi misanecho Hashem esno, ubeskei mimecho eskaitet. Hashem says, no, Rishoyim, who are unrepentant Rishoyim, you're not supposed to be. You're supposed to be tested. People are public sinners, and it's verified that they're sinners. You don't friend with these people. But Hashem's going to say, you didn't do that. But you know what you did? You were ba'ava. And all of a sudden you became very merutzin. No? Even though it's a big chet what you did. So to Beis Halevi you have a shtickle excuse. Know what the excuse is? The excuse is it says, La'olam ye'edaita shel adam u'reves ha'mabriyas. A person wants to get along with others. Don't be an argumentative guy like that. You want to get along with everybody, you know what I mean? It'd be nice. It says, I've mekabel is kol adam, b'sever panim yavet to everybody. It says. Smile to everybody. You know? It says, Bakei shalom v'ratfeyu. Seek peace, pursue peace. Yeah, it says, Bakei shpim kaimoi v'ratfeyu shleimim kaimoi. No? Even though the theater Indian doesn't seem as a makom v'shalom, pursue it anyway. And similar kindness, that people fool themselves and they think they have some answers. So the pasuk says, you know why you're a hypocrite? You know why Hashem's going to be ticked off at you big time? Because when it comes to the brother, Teishiv B'achicha, when it comes to the Talmud Chacham, the guy who wasn't involved in any scandals, the guy who's not a ganef, he just didn't smile at you, or he acted a little bit yeshivish, maybe gave you a little musser, maybe you felt he snotted you out. Oh, about him, all of a sudden, tidaber, you're going to speak against him. You're going to find something not hugging in his mice. You'll find some fault in his mice. Yeah? And you're going to talk about anoshim kisherim, bekviyas. And you're going to look for fault. Somebody once told me, what do you have against blogs? They tell the truth. I said, you want to run against blogs? I'm going to explain to you. these bloggers only tell the truth about tzaddikim and rabbanim. Why don't they tell the truth about their friends? Why doesn't the guy write? The guy I daven in shul with, that I schmooze with during davening, I got some news for you. The guy was involved in a bitter scandal. The guy beat his wife. The guy threw his kid out in the street. Why do you say that? That's interesting news too. Guy in your shul, a guy, one of your friends. Your friends, no, it's not supposed to look negative in that. But the chicha, ooh, that's going to be serious. That's what people are. What happened to your tightness of being done with everybody in the kaf schus? So the pasuk says, you did this, and I watched you be hypocrite. I was quiet, and you thought that I'm just like you. I'm saying it's okay. Your behavior is okay. So you say you should know that someday you're going to find out your hypocrisy. The things you think about, the things that you're makbir on, the things that you get upset about. No. Those things you think that you're doing the Ratzon of Hashem, and tomorrow you do the opposite, completely opposite. No. That's what Hashem's going to entrap us on. That's where Hashem's going to get you. Contradictions. Person is from, person sees. Others be not from, he recognizes it's wrong, and then he himself acts in ways that's unbecoming for himself to behave. Another common thing, which I used to use this a lot, when I used to do kiruv, there reigns tremendous hypocrisy in the area of emunah. Tremendous hypocrisy. In the Torah, there are chukim and there are mitzvahs. The chukim are something the seichel doesn't hear them so well. So observing chukim are difficult mitzvahs to keep, more than the other ones that make more sense. Something the seichel of a mensch is machayev, a person accepts. No. So what would you think? The einish of somebody who's over on a chayk, is it going to be less than the einish that somebody's over on a mishpat and something that makes sense? You would think yes. You would think yes. Something a person not naturally understands I shouldn't be doing, and he does it, he's going to get more punished than something he understands less. Yeah? Because in chukim, the Yitzhar is mischazik themselves on them. That's what it says. Chazal. But you know what Hashem's going to tell you? Hashem's going to say to the guy, so why didn't you do the chayk? He said, shatnez. I looked at the garments, Hashem. It looked the same to me, linen, wool. I didn't see the difference. It looked like that cloth to me. I couldn't imagine you cared if it's one piece linen, one piece thread. I'm not a cloth guy, and I didn't see it as a big aveira, Hashem. I couldn't believe it. That's what Hashem's going to say. You couldn't believe it, Hashem. I couldn't. It was hard, the emunah, to wrap my head around that mitzvah was a difficult one. So Hashem's going to show you how you believed every single shtus that you read in a magazine. Every single shtus that some apikoros said that made no sense, that any Baal Seichel would see right through it, and that you bought into with all of your keiches. That you believe 100%. You read in a book somewhere, and that became Tiferes Lokshin, and you became Amish, and then you become a believer in that. So Hashem's going to show that your problem is not that you have a difficulty with emunah. Many secular people think they have a difficulty with emunah. The hypocrisy is, I said, you have no problem with emunah. You believe every shtus that somebody in the secular world tells you that's unfounded, that's not based on anything. Some SHLITA says it, and you say, Kaddish, Kaddish, Kaddish. Your problem is not that you don't believe. The problem is that you're an Ibergleiber. That means you believe too much. And that's what the time is. People used to always tell me, Rabbi, I really envy you. I wish I believed. I wish I believed. I wish I could believe. You told me, you're out of your mind. You believe nonsense. You believe this toothpaste is better than another toothpaste. You believe this bread is better than... Are you out of your cotton picking mind? You know what kind of nonsense there is? Or you believe in organic? Oh, they all believe in organic. I mean, you don't know what organic is. I used to have a newspaper that said organic means it just gets sprayed less. To be called organic in America is like glatt kosher. Glatt kosher doesn't mean it doesn't have any sirchus. It has to meet certain criteria to be called glatt kosher. That's why certain HaShLITA, they're glatt, means garnished, means glatt nonsense. That's what it is. Glatt shaitim. That doesn't mean anything. Just because you thought it said in the package. You believe everything in the package. You never heard of people making nonsense of. So because of that, he hears from a shakra and that he believes. No, when it comes to limud HaTorah, he says same thing. Hypocrisy. Many people once had a Talmud here. I told him, he says, I'm not cut out for it. I'm not cut out for study. I'm really not cut out for studying. I told him, you are. I know you. You are cut out for studying. You're wrong. I say, you're just very lazy. But you kind of know. Some people say, aren't some people good at driving, at hands things? I said, yeah, there are some. I'm not. If you were that type, I would tell you. But you're not that type. You're a kind of guy who has intense abilities. It's something you're interested in. So he left the yeshiva, went to Lakewood, told him he wanted to learn Bekiyas. After 6 weeks, I said, no. So I quit. He said, they don't learn Bekiyas like I did. Here it's hard. You got to know, they mamish know everything they learn when they learn Bekiyas. You got to know the whole sugya with all the Rishonim. They give you tests on it. I said, what do you think? Learning Bekiyas means you don't know what you're talking about? Does that mean you're not going to learn? Out of your mind? Next thing, he's in college. He's taking this very hard course. I called him, I said, I don't understand. I thought you weren't good for intense study. You told me you had no zitzfleisch. The guy was working like 16 hours a day to make this course in the shortest time possible. So look at his zitzfleisch yet. Then he's going to find a big job in that field. It's going to make him work also 16 hours. No. The hypocrisy is what's going to get us. So people have to look into their lives and figure out how their hypocrisy manifests itself. And once you know that, there's a guy that tells me, I can't wake up early. Davening is too early. And the guy imagines that in the outside world, it's going to be like Ben Azmanim every day. All of a sudden, the guy goes out in the outside world, and now he's getting up earlier than he could have got up ever in any yeshiva. And he has no problem with it. All of a sudden, he's a hypocrite. That's all Hashem can show. HaKadosh Baruch Hu should help us not be hypocrites. So that we shouldn't be nivhalu, ipnei Hashem. No one's going to be perfect. But at least if you do things wrong, don't be a hypocrite.